Hey, I do want to start off by saying that I thank everybody who checked into my podcast, my first episode, and who viewed it so far. I really appreciate people actually listening, and I thank them so much, all of you, who decided to tune in and listen to my first episode of the podcast. This was something that took a minute code for it took a while for me to really come up with this episode, and I spoke from the heart, really. I also spoke from the head as well because I wanted to share my experience at that time and still currently. So, for everybody who viewed the episode, I want to thank you. And for everybody who are awaiting for my future episodes, I thank you for the support or future support. And let's start the show. Can I talk about something just between me and the listening public, which is you? Why exactly do we like to see toxicity in certain people's lives? For example, ever so often, whenever Russell Wilson and Ciara come up in the news or pop up on social media news, all of a sudden, there's a bunch of hate. Not particularly the relationship, but Russell. Either Russell's corny, how did he get this girl still? How are they still together? Where is Future? Blah, blah, blah. All that sort. Why do people like to see certain things just evolve from their current state into destruction? Why, when there is a relationship that happens in the public eye, and let's say people don't like it, they want to see it be destroyed? Where I'm getting at is, I'm here to really talk about and discuss why do people like to see and hear and fixate on things becoming toxic waste? I watched Malcolm and Marie about 3 weeks ago because it came out early February. And that movie, you watch it, your head might have hurt. You might have felt the way the characters felt because you probably said to yourself, yeah, this is my relationship. If you're in a relationship. And it is that, of course. Or if you're single, you might have said, wow, I don't want to be in this type of relationship. And for some people, weirdly enough, they might actually want to enter that type of relationship. Hey, there's some people who just want to do what they want to do with those type of relationships. So, hey, not here to wonder why every minute. But all I'm going to say and comment is when I saw that movie, I said to myself, this is harsh. I think this is the most extreme when it comes to toxic relationships because if you looked at Zendaya's character, Marie, you can already tell from the get-go, the start of the movie, that there's an issue already. It's set in black and white too, so I feel as if because it's set in black and white, they want you to just focus on the personality, the tone, the delivery, instead of who they are as a person. When you, in my opinion, when you put something in black and white and strip it to its natural, bare bones form, you have nothing else to focus on but what they're going to offer at the table. That's it. Because there's not really much distraction per se. Of course, you're going to see stuff, but you're not going to see it to its fullest form. So there's no pretty colors to really distract you. It's just who they are, what are they bringing to the table. That's it. It's just like a resume. Who are these people? What are they going to bring to the table? So Especially in that scene too, where Marie decided to sprinkle some salt in that water, and I mean barely any salt. Put some mac and cheese from the box, spin it around for 2 minutes, if you counted, around 2, 3 minutes, or five, I don't know, and just give it to Malcolm. Boy, Malcolm must have been hungry because I, I, I would have threw that out. I would have threw that out real quick. That mac and cheese is not something you should eat. And I'm telling you right now, if you come home and let's say if my woman made me mac and cheese, right? My future woman made me mac and cheese, and it was done in 5 minutes, I would have to look and say, what are you doing? are we are we cooking? Should I just do Uber Eats? Because I don't know what's going on. Every time they would interact, Malcolm and Marie, every time they would interact, there's just this toxic bubble that just is soon ready to burst, right? And every time there's actually a happy moment, and let's say they're about to get down, right? They're about to get down with the get down. They never really get to that point at all because there's underlying issues every time. There's underlying issues. Now, when I say why do people like to see toxicity, you could first look at the media. What do they portray? What do they show to people who are a couple or they have a relationship and things are not going on the up and up? Oh, they throw that all over the place. And guess what? A lot of us, we like to dive in, feed into that. Say, yeah, man, that's crazy. Oh, look at this. Nah, I don't want this person to be together with this person. Nah, 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 nah. All that. You know, the Cardi B and Offsets. Currently now, the Kim, K, and Kanye West type relationship. There's a lot of stuff at play. But when we talk about something from what I see and what I think currently is as normal as Russell and Ciara and Russell Wilson, from again what I have seen, what has been shown to me and the public, is some man who actually is showing how much they care for their woman. All of a sudden, we don't accept that. I'm not saying everybody, but a good amount of people don't accept that. A good amount of men, weirdly enough, don't accept it at all. And I wonder why. I wonder really why, honestly. Sometimes I think to myself, this is the generation where we should obviously try to be better than the last generation or the previous generations before us. But here we are, wanting, for some reason, a man not to show off what they are doing when it comes to being a good man. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the hoopla, for a lack of a better term, is. I'm not sure. The only thing I could think of was exactly why do you want to see this just burn to the ground all of a sudden? Why do you want to not see that man if he's gonna show his wife and kids and stepson? Why are we not going to at least say, wow, you know, this is great. If this is how it's gonna be, fantastic. This is a great family, blah blah blah. I could come up with some reasons of my own, of course, in my opinion, as to why we like to see toxicity. I think one of those reasons, I should say, is because of our own home structure, our family structure. I'm not talking about any black or white community in particular, just if you are in a home family structure where things are things might not be to what it should be. Things are not what it seems. I'm not saying for every single case of a bad or not that great family structure that some son or daughter cannot be better off when they get older, but a lot of it has to do with the family structure. what's going on at the home. Is the home okay? Maybe it's not okay. So then, since it's tumultuous at home, maybe you think it should be tumultuous outside. And sometimes you don't realize that you're carrying that problem, that issue from home, if your home is toxic, to the workplace, to school, to wherever you're going to go. Subconsciously, it's surrounding you. It's like a toxic bubble. Just like in the movie Malcolm and Marie. You think everything is okay, or you try to make everything to be okay, but it's not. So you push that out into the world. I think another reason as to why people like to see toxicity and they're attracted to it too is because of the environment that they could be in. Environment does play a big role into who you're going to be or who you are currently. Again, I will say sometimes it might not. Sometimes you might be an anomaly and you go off to your business. But in other cases, in many cases, it does. It does play a certain role in how you're going to be. If you're in a community where there's a lot of crime, there's a lot of issues, there's a lot of problems, there's a lot of craziness, chances are you might carry that same thing and you don't know it to where you're going to be. You might emulate those things and then push it forward to whoever you're speaking to, and you don't even know it. Or you do know it, but you don't care because this is how you've been brought up. This is where you've been brought up. Unless you have exited that community and you've gone to so many other places that are completely not it, and you've been there and you've stayed there for a long time, chances are this is how you could become in the future or be and stay that way in the future. So when people watch a couple on film like Malcolm and Marie, they might hold their chest, they might wince, they might like cry a bit, but they're like, yeah, I resonate with this because this is what people are attracted to. There are people that are attracted to negativity. Negativity is just so easy to fall into because it's something you don't have to work hard for. You don't have to work to be negative. You don't have to. You can just fall in it and poof, you're negative. But to work towards happiness, that takes a while. Unless you have just stemmed from being a happy person all the time, to get into the negative zone is not hard. If somebody slaps you across the head, just random, what would you resort to? Would you just say, you know what? I'm not even going to try and do anything that could cause a negative reaction? Or are you going to decide to slap that man or woman or whoever back right upside their head? What would you do? When you see all these stories about celebrity breakups, celebrity issues, people might get a divorce, tumultuous relationships, do you say to yourself, wow, this is terrible, and I hope they get back together, or if they do separate, I hope they find their better significant other? Or do you just fixate on it and say, ooh, I wonder what's next. Oh my God, I want to see what's happening. When you see Russell Wilson and Sierra together as a family unit, do you think to yourself, wow, this is a fantastic family? Maybe you might wish to be in that type of family someday, whether you're a man or woman. Or do you fixate on hoping that they will have a downfall? Again, what is it about liking the negative, the toxicity that really drives people to talk about the craziest things, to fixate on the craziest stuff? Why do people want Russell to apparently fail or something like that? Why do you want Russell to fail? Why do you not want Russell being himself to be himself? I would also pose that especially to the men. Why would you want Russell to be just not succeed or something like that? Why would you not want that to happen? Is it because this is the person you wish to be? Is it because that you feel that he's better than you right now and you don't like it? Is it because You saw Sierra with Future, and Future is a representation of who you actually are or who you think you are, and then Russell caught Sierra or vice versa, and everything is just fine, and you can't believe that's the case. What is it exactly? What is it really? There's so much to dive in when it comes to this topic that I don't think it could be covered really in one episode because we could go on and on and on and on. But I just want people to understand this. And I brought up Russell Wilson and Sierra. I brought up Malcolm and Marie. I brought up certain times and situations of life or things of that nature to give you a synopsis of what the world currently fixates right now, especially my generation, the younger generation fixates on, and even a little bit older. When you look at something as dealing with toxicity, when there's something going on in, let's say, a relationship that's toxic or a work environment that's toxic, there's an imbalance. There's an imbalance and there is a lack of understanding between the parties at hand. There's a lack of understanding. Something is not being understood. When you look at Russell Wilson and you say he's corny, there's something that you're not understanding. There's something that's within you that you have yet to seek and understand. Why are you even saying this in the first place? Because I will ask the question, and hopefully somebody can answer it without making it a laugh of the situation. Answer me in a educated manner as to why you think Russell Wilson is corny when he decides to show off his wife and show that he loves his wife. Tell me, why is that corny? Just tell me. Give me an answer. If you want to give me the answer, of course. Why do you think that when you see a Offset and Cardi B, you think that is the best thing since sliced bread? And it, again, I'm not talking about them as individuals. Don't get me twisted here. I'm not talking about them as individuals. I'm just stating about what you see on TV, what you see on social media, what has been put out there. The toxicity, right? Why do you think that's something that you would like to see every minute? Why? When I saw the film Malcolm and Marie again, and at the start of the film, she said something, and I'm paraphrasing. The start of the film, she said, "You never told me thank you. You never told me thank you." And at the end of the film, she explained why he should have said thank you. Because in the middle, the whole middle, they were arguing back and forth. They had happy moments, but they never got to the point of climax for the happy moment. Never. Never ever. They were arguing back and forth. They would obliterate each other verbally. Verbally obliterate each other to tears. And then finally, instead of just listening to reply, well, for the person who actually knows what I just said, that's for you. Instead of just listening to reply, and it was the man, right? It was Malcolm. The man listened to understand, and the man actually apologized. Again, it's not really dealing with the sexes. It just happened to be Malcolm, because he was, as much as you look at Marie's character and you're like, wow. If you watch the film, you're like, wow, this is toxic. Oh my goodness, why is she arguing with this man so much? And trust me, I was with you. I was with y'all, okay? Why is he arguing? Why is she arguing so much? Just stop, please. Please stop. Let the man get a rest. Why you gave him such horrible mac and cheese? As much as we probably was with Malcolm, or if you were with Marie, but for my side, for me, as much as I was with Malcolm, at the end I understood why she was correct. And both sides have their points that they've made to each other. But why was Marie correct in the end of everything? Malcolm did not understand until finally he stopped everything, was so tired, he was so exhausted, and he just sat there and listened to understand. And Marie laid it out. And wow, she laid it out all right. She laid it out. So when you see something such as a Russell Wilson and Sierra relationship, stop to think for 1 second. Is this something that you wouldn't like to see every day? Or is this something that you want to pass on by and keep on pushing as you're living your fast life, if it is a fast life? When you look at Cardi B and Offset's relationship, stop to think, is this what you want to see as you're living your life? Or is it something you want to pass on by? When you looked at Kim and Kanye's relationship, is it something that you wanted to see as you got older and actually want to have? Or is it something you're going to pass on by? Do you like to feed off of toxicity? Or do you want to actually see something good happen? A lot of negativity could drain the soul. A lot of negativity could drain the soul. We're human beings. We go through a lot. We have our ups, downs, lefts, rights, diagonals, crossovers, twists and turns, roller coaster rides. But if we understand that, should we put down somebody for actually showing something that I guess should be normal? Or should we actually put them down because for some reason in our life, something's not normal? So we're pushing onto other people or projecting onto other people that something such as their relationship or any other relationship that is just normal shouldn't be normal. What are we actually telling our future sons and daughters when they're getting involved into this world of social media? Because it is the world of social media. Don't get it twisted. Social media has taken over everything. It has shaped, changed the game. It was the Industrial Revolution, Renaissance, the World Wars, Civil Rights, Y2K, the 90s, now social media. There's so much in this world that we could look back to and say, wow, this is what I've seen in my lifetime. And then there's just things that you don't want to even look at anymore. There's things that you don't want to feel anymore. Toxicity and negativity, I guess, is one hell of a drug if you really take it way above the limit. But should we project toxicity onto others that have happiness? Or should we do some self-care and realize, is this really good for the soul? Are we going to listen to reply, or are we going to listen to understand? Are we going to be hating, complaining, and not achieving? Or are we going to be achieving, reviving, and looking towards the future to better ourselves? Toxicity is a hell of a drug of epic proportions. What are we projecting? What are we showing? What are we trying to prove? That's my TED Talk, ladies and gentlemen.